Would Syria have fallen if Russia was not involved in Ukraine?
That's a really good question, and I think that's one that I think a lot of people will be debating for, probably years to come. And the history books will be doing the same thing. I think, undoubtedly, if Russia wasn't so heavily invested in Ukraine, both financially in terms of its manpower, in terms of its attention and energy, then I think there's quite a possibility that Putin would have had the leverage, the latitude, and all the resources at his disposal to prop up Assad. Maybe he would have. I think there's been some interesting reporting about the frustrations that Moscow had with Assad, though. I think there was a sense in the Kremlin that after they saved him, starting in 2015, they launched a years-long intervention of bombing the rebels, bombing hospitals, bombing civilian population. It was awful. It was quite nasty, and it was quite intense, and it basically turned Russia into a Middle Eastern power, so to speak, vis-a-vis its intervention. And so, it saved Assad. And then I think there was a sense in Moscow that after that, they were expecting Assad to at least kind of embark on some kind of political dialogue. It didn't mean necessarily embracing the rebels, but it just meant maybe in some way, letting out some of the steam that had built up in Syria for so long, and that had been the reason for, these awful and violent protests that came about in 2011, right? And so I think, there was disappointment with Assad in Moscow, and I think there was a sense by, earlier this year, whenever they saw, his group, Tahrir al-Sham, racing southward towards Damascus, that Assad had kind of dug his own grave. And so, maybe they had made a decision beforehand that it just wasn't worth saving him. Maybe if they had more attention, more money, they would have rushed in and done something